Hey guys, James here today and welcome back to another house building video. We're doing another tiny home. I've done a lot of these in the past, of varying sizes like 3x3s, 4x4s, like all the tiny varieties you could possibly imagine. So I thought I'd do this one as a starter home. So it's under $20,000 in total. So you can move into this right from the beginning of the game. So you don't have to worry about that. I don't think that it is I'm using like lots of different packs. Like I don't think I didn't really specifically avoid using any packs, so I don't know what it requires. Probably a lot of stuff, but I just had a bit of fun with it. I kind of got when I was building this, I got to the point where like I was just having a bit of fun with the design, and it started looking fairly like industrial almost. And near the end, you'll see it sort of all come together. It kind of started looking like almost like just a random little garage somewhere that had been converted into a tiny home. And that's kind of what I imagined it to be. I don't know why this would be a garage. Like, I don't think it's actually that big I don't think it's big enough to fit like a Sims 4 sized car in it. But that was kind of like the inspiration of it anyway. So I kind of rolled with that. So it started to end up being this industrial garage kind of style place that maybe used to house someone's car, like maybe just like a little shelter somewhere. I don't know why there'd be a random garage, but you know what? I'm getting too far into the lore and the history of this property, of which there is none because I built it today and that was all the lore that you ever need to know. Anyway, keeping it pretty modern, like a lot of the time with these tiny houses, I do actually make the windows and all that fairly private by adding like screens or something like that, because they are so small. I typically want to have really big windows just to make the place feel bigger, like have way more light come in through the windows, because if you had small little porthole windows, it would feel way more enclosed than it would than having a big glass window. So I use those, but because they are so small, having a big glass window, someone could very easily just like see into your entire home. So it's like on the side there, that's why I've sort of put those concrete dividing walls, and then like the ivy screen and all that kind of stuff, just because it doesn't completely screen it obviously from the outside, but it gives it somewhat of a buffer so you can't just see straight in, but you can still have the curtains open on the window like that. That's the kind of thing I'm going for there. So the kitchen, very simple, very, very simple, just as you saw before, the fridge, the counter, and the stove. We actually do have a dining table in this place, just there. You can see a 2-seater dining table. Using that little corner for the bathroom, which I do change up in a little bit. I was originally going to have the diagonal door, but then I thought, hey, we could probably fit in a double bed into this space, because I originally was just going to do a single bed, but then I was like, then when I pulled out the bed just then, I was like, it would be nice to have a double bed in there. But I was like, hey, we don't actually need to make this place bigger. We just got to rearrange the layout a little bit, because you can actually just sit on a bed like a sofa. So they can sit on there and watch the TV when we put that in. So it acts as like a sofa as well. I mean, that bed is typically actually called a futon anyway. So it's like, kind of makes sense. Like, I don't know, it just seems like something that you just sit on happily with no worries and it'll be all good. So there isn't there's no computer in this place, but there is, you got the TV, got the kitchen, the bathroom, there's a bin. I didn't forget the bin there. That's actually in here for once. So that's something I typically do forget. And then we have the full bathroom as well. So there's everything your sim actually needs to live and sort of progress as well. We also do have a bookcase in here too, which is really good. So, you got the bookcase, got the TV, you can have fun at least, but there's no computer or anything like that, so you'd have to add that in. But yeah, we have a fully functional bathroom, shower, toilet, sink, all works perfectly fine. I do actually put something in here that doesn't work, and I'll tell you what it is when I do it. The bathroom also, it's very like almost prison-like. I realized this near the end, like because the walls are all like concrete and it's like very sterile and white. It wasn't meant to end up like that, but it kind of did by accident. Anyway, that little clothes hamper that I put underneath the sink, it doesn't work. I actually removed that in the uploaded version to the gallery. Oh, also, to the left of the door, you can see that unpainted wall. Don't worry about that. I don't paint it in the video, but I do paint it before I uploaded it to the gallery, which of course, now that I've mentioned it multiple times, you can click the link down below to download this house. It'll take you to the Sims 4 gallery and you can save it there. Or you can search for my origin ID, which is the same as my username here on YouTube, which is The Sim Supply. No spaces, all one word. You'll be able to find it there. So kitchen, just adding a few little details here. I decided to make the kitchen all black just because I don't normally do that. And I felt it actually went really well with this color scheme, because we have the exposed bricks on the wall, those sort of dark slate floor tiles, and then all black appliances and counters. I don't know. I actually really, really like the look of that. And I sort of follow that theme through there to the curtains and the window frames. I don't know why, but it looked nice. It really did. Although if you watch a lot of my videos, you know that I like the black and white color scheme because it's a very contemporary style that's very popular here in Australia, and that's why I always use it. It's just as a heads up. But yeah, it works well because it all goes together, and also those colors are very just very industrial as well, especially paired with the wall and the sort of exposed bricks. It all kind of flows together quite nicely with the sort of concrete and all that. Yeah, so that bin and that bookcase actually work fine. I did fully test this house with the sim before posting it. That's why I actually removed that hamper in the end, because it just didn't work. I tried moving it around a little bit to sort of shove it under the sink a bit more, but it just didn't want to work. So the front of the house, as you can see, is actually pretty private. That's like what I was saying before about these smaller homes. I like to keep them pretty private because they are so small. I don't really... Like, if I was imagining this to be real, I wouldn't really want people walking past the street seeing in a huge window. And that's why we only have the smaller one there just at the front and then the two large ones on the side. And I think it actually works quite well. And the interior, I actually really like the interior of this place. Like, when we go into the screenshots, ooh boy, it looks good. So around the back now, I had to figure out how much I could actually spend, because I thought, for some reason, I thought it was 16,500, but I think that's the Sims 3. I think the Sims 3 with one sim is that, but I even tested. I created a new sim, just a single sim household, and it was $20,000 we had. So I was like, oh, okay, because I had used the whole budget there, and I didn't have actually any room. Like, I didn't have any more money to do any landscaping. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then I realized I did. So this is where the idea of it becoming like some sort of converted garage came from, is because I really wanted to use that garage door from City Living, just because it has so many cool like murals and colorful designs on it. I was like, that looks really cool. Like, it'd be awesome to imagine that this used to be some little, maybe even like a storage unit or something. Maybe that makes more sense. Yes, let's go with that. Converted storage unit. Just maybe it's like a portable storage unit or something, and they just turned it into a house for reasons. I don't know. I think that makes more sense, just because if you look at the scale of the car, it doesn't actually really fit in there. Also, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that the garage door would be at the back and you'd have to do like a U-turn to get into it. So storage unit it is. Hooray! We've got the reason for it now, or the backstory to it anyway. So I wanted to make all this like flooring outside look a little bit worn away and like quite old, like it's been around for a while. So I decided to use terrain paints instead, so that we could like paint over it with grass and dirt, like it's been overgrown and all that. I tried to stencil the terrain. That didn't work there, so we just had to cut it out by hand. Because you used to be able to, in the Sims 3 and the Sims 2, if you put floor tiles down and then you started painting the ground, it wouldn't paint underneath it. You can do that in the Sims 4, but it has to be a room, not just plain floor tiles down there. So just there, I was actually using the dirt to make it look like tire tracks had been like driving, like leaving dirt tracks behind the tires. Like, that's why it's kind of in that sort of U-turn kind of shape. That's what that was supposed to be. I wish we just had like some sort of burnt rubber texture. I don't know why that'd be useful to anyone else, but if it was just like a black terrain paint, then you could have like tire screech mark or screech. I don't know, tire marks. I don't know why I added the sound in there. The tire screech marks, to be precise, not to be confused with tire marks. But if we had that would be the one useful thing I could think of that terrain paint for. But you know, hey, dirt was fine. It worked out fine. So I originally put a barbecue in here, which I thought was kind of good, but I didn't have enough money in the end, so I did remove it. Because I wanted to put a fence around this place, like it had been fenced in. So I actually did that. I was like, hey, a basketball hoop could also be cool. But then again, in the end, it was a little bit too. It almost looks like the basketball hoop outshines the size of the house. Like, it looks bigger than the house. I was like, okay, maybe not. Yeah, and then here I just got like some sort of barbed wire fencing around it, like it'd been some enclosed little unit. And that fence actually ended up being too expensive, so I did have to I didn't get rid of all of it, but I got rid of the side one because I didn't have enough money left in the budget, which kind of sucked, because I wanted to keep it there. I was like, it's kind of cool, but if we can't afford it, there's no point trying to force it it's just not going to work. So in the end, we just didn't do that. And then I was like, where do I want to put this? I was like, I don't know where I want to put the ute. I tried a few different places, and then I just kind of left it. There. Cool. All right. Screenshots. Obviously, there it is. Little tiny home. That's all it is. It's a small one. It's a nice short little video, little build. I love doing these, man. Because they're like a little puzzle to figure out every time, and you get to sort of play around with different styles that may not work on a larger home as well. So it's always fun to do these smaller builds because they don't take a whole lot of time too. So you can really just get them done. I could just do a whole bunch of them in one day probably. Maybe to do a whole tiny town. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe that's something I should do. I really do like the kitchen actually. The kitchen, the living area in this place. Yeah, I think this build turned out pretty well. But like I mentioned before, if you do want to download it, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery, so you can check it out there. And that's about all there is. Make sure to leave your comments and feedback down below. If you have any other ideas for any other builds in the future, put that down below as well, and it might just happen. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Click a link on screen if you want to watch more builds or subscribe to the channel. That's all there. Go to my website as well. But that's it. That is the tiny build in The Sims 4. That is also a starter home, and you can live in it from the beginning of the game. That's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and have an awesome day.